Mauricio Umansky's devastating final announcement regarding Kyle Richards. In this video, we'll reveal exactly what happened, why Mauricio was left in tears, and how it all unfolded. You're not going to want to miss this one. Mauricio Umansky, known for his success, his charisma, and his calm presence on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, has long been admired as one of Bravo's most grounded husbands. And for years, his marriage to Kyle Richards was seen as one of the strongest in reality TV history. But now, everything has changed. In a moment no one expected, Mauricio broke down in front of cameras and made a painful announcement about Kyle, one that left fans, friends, and even cast members stunned. Today, we're breaking down the emotional truth behind Mauricio's words, what led to this heartbreaking moment, and what it really means for their future. It all began when Mauricio appeared at a public charity event in Beverly Hills. Typically polished and smiling, Mauricio's demeanor was different this time, quieter, more reflective. As the lights dimmed and the crowd grew silent, he took the microphone and paused. His voice trembled slightly before he spoke. "I never thought I'd have to say this," he began, "but Kyle and I are taking time apart." The words echoed through the room. No one moved. Even the photographers, used to flashing lights and sound bites, stopped for a moment. Mauricio's confession wasn't about scandal, anger, or betrayal, it was about loss. The loss of something sacred, the life and rhythm they had built together over nearly 3 decades. For years, Mauricio and Kyle had been Hollywood's definition of partnership. From humble beginnings to building a multi-million-dollar real estate empire and a Bravo legacy, they weathered fame, criticism, and the chaos of public life. They raised 4 daughters, Farrah, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia, always showing up as a united front, even when cameras captured tension behind the scenes. Kyle, known for her wit and fire, once called Mauricio her safe place. And Mauricio often said that Kyle was his why. But as Mauricio revealed in his announcement, somewhere along the way, they began to drift. And this wasn't about love fading, it was about 2 people growing in directions neither could control. Kyle's life has changed dramatically in recent years. Her renewed focus on self-growth, fitness, and personal independence became a storyline of its own on rhobh. She began producing, writing, and exploring creative projects outside of Bravo. Mauricio, meanwhile, was expanding the agency into a global real estate powerhouse, traveling constantly, managing hundreds of agents, and filming Buying Beverly Hills. 2 careers, both flourishing, yet pulling them apart. As Mauricio said that night, "Sometimes success doesn't just change your schedule, it changes your soul. You wake up one day and realize you've become strangers trying to remember who you used to be." The audience listened in silence. This wasn't the confident, always in control Mauricio fans were used to seeing. This was a man confronting the reality that love can evolve, and sometimes evolve away. Close friends say Kyle had been open about the emotional distance long before the public noticed. She'd been struggling to balance her identity as a wife, mother, and independent woman in the spotlight. In interviews, she spoke of rediscovering who I am outside of the show, outside of being someone's wife. And that journey, though empowering, came with painful consequences. Kyle reportedly told friends, "I'll always love Mauricio, but I also need to love myself enough to listen when something inside feels different." It wasn't bitterness, it was acceptance. When Mauricio stood before that crowd, his eyes glistened, not just from sadness, but gratitude. He spoke about the years they shared, the family they built, and the lessons learned along the way. "Kyle taught me what unconditional love looks like," he said softly. "She believed in me before the world did. She was there when no one knew my name." Those words broke through the silence. You could hear quiet sobs from fans in the audience. Mauricio continued, "This isn't goodbye forever. It's a pause. A moment to breathe, to heal, and to figure out who we are, separately. After his announcement, friends close to the couple confirmed that they weren't closing the door completely. Sources say both Mauricio and Kyle are still in contact daily, co-parenting and supporting each other's projects. But the space between them is real and deeply emotional. Kyle, ever the strong matriarch, posted a cryptic message on social media just days later. Sometimes, the hardest part of love is letting go of what used to be, to make space for what's meant to come next. Fans flooded her comments with messages of hope, heartbreak, and support. Now, the big question everyone is asking: is this truly the end of Kyle and Mauricio's marriage, or could this be a beginning in disguise? Friends say there's still love, deep, complex, unbreakable love. But right now, both need time to rediscover themselves outside of the marriage that defined so much of their adult lives. In Mauricio's words, "I'm not losing Kyle. I'm learning to love her in a different way, from a distance, maybe, but still with everything I've got." Wow, what an emotional story. Mauricio Umansky's announcement wasn't about drama. It was about real love, real growth, and real heartbreak. So what do you think? Will Mauricio and Kyle find their way back to each other? Or is this truly the end of an era in Beverly Hills? Today, we're uncovering how Kyle Richards responded to Mauricio's revelation, how their friends from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills have reacted, and what this separation could mean for the future of one of Bravo's most beloved couples. Hours after Mauricio's statement went public, Kyle was spotted leaving her home in Encino, visibly emotional, yet composed. Reporters called her name. She didn't answer. She simply nodded, whispered thank you, and drove away. Later that evening, she shared a post that stopped fans in their tracks. A simple black and white photo of her and Mauricio from years ago, captioned, "Love doesn't always end. Sometimes it changes form." That line, poetic and heartbreaking, captured exactly what fans were feeling. Inside sources told Us Weekly that Kyle had known about Mauricio's decision to speak publicly, but she hadn't expected the raw emotion he showed. She thought he'd keep it professional, one insider revealed, but when he broke down, she cried too. Even after everything, she still loves him deeply. The Bravo community exploded with messages of support. Lisa Vanderpump, despite her complicated history with Kyle, reportedly sent flowers with a short note that read, "Real love never truly fades." Erica Jane posted on Instagram, saying, "They were the real deal. Fame didn't break them, time did, and that's something we can all understand." Even Andy Cohen weighed in during Watch What Happens Live, calling Mauricio's announcement one of the most genuine, vulnerable moments Bravo has ever seen. Clips of the event trended on TikTok, with millions of fans commenting things like, "This is love in its truest, saddest form," and "You can tell his heart still belongs to her." Days later, Mauricio was photographed walking alone near the beach in Malibu. No cameras, no entourage, just silence and ocean air. Witnesses say he spent nearly an hour watching the waves. One person who saw him said, "He looked peaceful, but you could tell he was holding back tears. He wasn't running from pain, he was learning to sit with it." Meanwhile, Kyle was focusing on her daughters, surrounding herself with family and lifelong friends. Her sister, Kathy Hilton, was seen visiting her, and according to one source, Kathy told her, "No matter what happens, love doesn't disappear. It just evolves." Kyle reportedly nodded and said softly, "I know, but it still hurts." What fans didn't know was that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cameras had been rolling during much of this emotional time. Producers were caught off guard when Mauricio made his announcement, but according to Bravo insiders, they're now considering airing a special episode dedicated entirely to the couple's journey. "It's not about drama," said one production member. "It's about honesty. Viewers have watched them grow for years. This is the most real it's ever been." Even Mauricio's Netflix team from Buying Beverly Hills has reportedly discussed featuring a more personal side of his life in the upcoming season, showcasing how he balances family, fame, and heartbreak. In a recent podcast interview, Mauricio opened up further. He didn't shy away from emotion. "I'll always love Kyle," he said, voice shaking. "She's not my ex-wife. She's my family. And no matter where life takes us, that doesn't change." Listeners could hear the sincerity in his tone. No bitterness, no regret. Just deep respect and gratitude. He went on to explain how fame magnifies everything. When you live in front of the world, every smile, every silence, it all gets analyzed. But the truth is, sometimes two people just grow in different directions, and that's okay. Those words struck a chord with fans who followed their story for decades. As for Kyle, she's found solace in her creative work, writing, acting, and spending quiet time with her daughters. In a recent interview, she said, "I'm learning that love doesn't always have to look the way it used to. Sometimes it's about letting go with grace."